got here after he faced Georgia Tech the first time. He said, "Thank goodness that's over." Have you ever dealt with another team that inspires that sort of, I guess, frustration? Maybe it's the best word for it.
Yeah. I've had a few of them along the way. You played some great, offensive football teams with a lot of firepower and things like that. But again, Georgia Tech is just a whole different animal, because you just don't have a lot of, from a defensive standpoint, you just don't have a lot of carryover. Typically when you play week to week, there's some of your base principles that you can carry forward to the next opponent. Same thing offensively. Okay, I mean, you're just trying to get information. Are they a one safety team, two safety team? Are they a pressure team? Are they a coverage team? Are they a man team? Are they a 3-down team, 4-down team? So you have all these things, and you kind of have some things that you can carry over from week to week with some game plan adjustments. But when you play Georgia Tech, they're just so different. We just don't see that anywhere else. So it's a truly a game and season of its own when you play these guys.
Is it concerning having so many guys on your defense that are young and haven't played at Georgia Tech? How do you prepare those guys to play them for the first time?
Just like we prepare to play anybody, a lot of guys that never played Auburn. So a lot of guys, nobody played Troy, and every opponent we have to prepare, the same. So, I mean, just study what they do. I think we've got guys that have played 3 football games now, and I know that, again, we're starting kind of over, but we work really all year long on Georgia Tech from a defensive standpoint. We take, because, again, they're just so different. When we're practicing in the spring, again, when we're installing our base stuff, for the most part, you have things that maybe they're not as good this week as they are another week, but you still have some principles that are going to apply each and every week. But Georgia Tech's just very different. So we actually we do option period every spring. We call it Georgia Tech period, and because we're going to play them every week. They're a common opponent. We're going to play them every single year, and we have to make sure that we give our guys a good foundation. So we've done that around here for a while from a defensive standpoint, making sure that those guys understand the things that you have to do, from defeating cut blocks and staying on your feet, and because how they play on the offensive line is very different from what you're going to see with teams that run the zone, run the power, just different. Their stances are different, everything. So we have to teach that, and we don't just wait till this week to try to teach those principles. I don't think that's very smart. I think every football team out there, when you look at your opponents, and especially teams you play every year, and you try to structure things to where you give yourself a chance to be successful. And we certainly do that with Georgia Tech. Now executing and stopping them is a whole different deal. But we certainly work on it, really all year long to have just a foundation.
Why is it so hard to win at Georgia Tech? Over the last 5 trips.
Well, we just hadn't played well down there. It's really no magic to it. We were down there a couple years ago and really got out of the gate playing great, and Deshaun gets hurt, and next thing you know, we got a couple pick sixes going the other way, and if you score for Georgia Tech, you're in for a long night. I think they only scored 1 touchdown in that game on our defense, I think. But that's just you can't turn the ball over. You got to win that margin. And I think if you look at the last game, then what was that, in 11, we go down there and same thing. Had a bunch of turnovers that night. We had, but it was several. I know we threw a pick down there on the goal line, had a chance right there at the end of the game. Even as bad as we played, we had a chance. And so that's usually the same recipe for defeat there as it is anywhere else. If you lose the turnover battle and give up big plays on special teams, give up big play busts against your defense, you're in for a long day. Field position, etc. So it's really, we just hadn't played well, and that was, I guess, in 11, and then 2009, we were down there, and my man Thomas Austin, who's on the staff now, me and him are going back. I don't think we've been back down there since that Thursday night in '09, so we're going back down there. Hopefully we can get a different result this time than we did that year, but it was a crazy game in '09, crazy game. But really same thing, just big plays, turnovers, and just not, they outplayed us. They won the game. They were a better team. Simple as that on that day. That's all that matters, is who's the better team that day, and they've been the better team.